You mean in a tent? Not sort of in one of these by chance, Bob? Unless you have a softy southerner with you.
Yeah, I guess we'll make an exception for a softy southerner.
After picking up the RV from the Canada Dream Depot, Rick drove it back to his house, where the next 24 hours was spent packing all the radio equipment, masts, antenna, coax, power distribution, generator, jerry cans and food into the vehicle. Eventually, at about 4 o'clock on the Sunday afternoon, we set out north from Toronto. The Cqww campsite is some 80 kilometres from the bottom of the James Bay Highway and a few kilometres to the east of the main road. The RV was soon parked up on some hard standing. The generator was deployed along with the 9 full 5-gallon jerry cans. Despite Rick's best efforts, the Coleman 5 kilowatt generator was proving to be unreliable. During the day, it started to develop an oil leak, and the governor didn't seem to be working properly. Above all, it seemed to be using an awful lot of fuel. Rick managed to nurse the generator along and keep it going. At least it was providing power to the RV for power tools, soldering irons and the radios that had been unpacked. As with previous de-expeditions to Zone 2, half-square antennas were put up. The simple design has proved to be very effective in these conditions and is very easy to adjust for best match. This is the end of one of the vertical sections of the 10-meter antenna. This antenna was firing south to the States, and these are the 20-meter and 15-meter antennas which are firing to the northeast to Europe and southwest to the Pacific. On Tuesday, Rick set up his drill press so as to do some more work on the Battle Creek special antenna. It is a 50-foot vertical for 40, 80 and 160 meters. It is a very complicated structure and has 2 loading coils, one halfway up and one at the very top. 2 wire tails are attached to aid the tuning on 80 and 160. We will see later on how we got on with this structure.
Sort of died there and then it came back up again.
Oh, generators died again.
Yeah. Well, maybe one deep cycle marine battery.
You're going to put an EMIS for that.
Huh?
You'll put an EMIS for that Canadian vinegar.
Later on that afternoon, we decided that we just had to make the 80-kilometer trip back into Matagami to try to find a generator repair shop. So the cables were disconnected from the RV and the generator loaded aboard and we set out. By the time that we got to Matagami, it had come in dark, but we were lucky enough to find a repair shop that was prepared to have a look at our generator. The downside was that they wouldn't be able to look at the problem until the following morning. With so much antenna work to do back at Cqww and the repair shop unable to tell us by which time they might know more about our sick generator, we decided that we just had to return the 80 kilometers back to the campsite.
How are ya?
only with the promise that the repair shop would try and phone us in the morning. With no cell phone coverage back at the campsite, Bob contacted Ted VA3 TSG on 40 metres. Ted was back in Whitby, Ontario, but asked him to phone the repair shop for us. We learnt some good news and some bad news. The good news, yes, the generator could be repaired, but the bad news, the parts would not be available until the following Wednesday. That's after the contest. So we had to make another trip into Matagami, but this time to pick up the dead generator and rent a working one. Once again we had to pack up the RV and head back down the James Bay Highway. On our return run, while making our mandatory stop at the safety hut, I noticed this huge transporter. It was carrying a transformer to be delivered to somewhere like Radisson. It was a kind of a push-me-pull-me arrangement with a power unit at the front and another at the rear. I ran out of fingers and toes when counting the number of wheels. I was glad that we didn't get stuck behind it on the road. Fortunately, it was parked up for the night and it would not be setting out until morning. It is Thursday morning. We put this antenna up in the dark last night. That's the sound of our new generator that we just rented. We got that from Matagami last evening. The generator was made by Makita and proved to be a lot quieter than the Coleman and certainly a lot more fuel efficient. And it ran continuously through until after the end of the contest.
Victor Alpha, Sierra Romeo Echo. I think I got that right, Bob. Anything we can do for you down here?
Yeah, just doing an antenna test, having some problems with an antenna, so just wondering what the signal is like, just doing an antenna test, over.
He's testing on a new antenna, that's what he can tell you. His antenna's having some problems. Okay, well, get to work on it. I hope you get it taken care of.